In this video, we are going to do an example where we find the expected number of people attending a music festival, as well as the expected profit from that event. So the example says, at the Sun God Festival, the organizers estimate attendance will depend on the headliner according to the following table. So the options for headliner are Kendrick Lamar, and if he's the headliner, the attendance is 20,000. And the probability that he is the headliner is 0.4. So the other headliner options are either Young the Giant or Beyonce. So we got their corresponding attendances written here, and the probability that they are the headliner in the following column. So next the question says, if the tickets are sold for $15 each, the organizers need to purchase insurance, which costs $5 per attendee, and the headliner will cost $50,000. Part A asks, what is the expected attendance? So to answer this part of the question, we actually don't need this information. This will be relevant to us in the next part of the question. So for expected attendance, we just got to take the different values that the attendance could be, and then multiply each of them by their probability, and then sum those up. So the attendance could be 20,000 with a probability of 0.4, so I multiply. And then add that to the next value for your attendance, which is 12,000. Multiply that by its probability, 0.5, plus the next value for attendance, which is 25,000. Multiply that by its probability, which is 0.1. And if we work out what this is, we end up getting 16,500. And if there's units for whatever we're measuring, we should write them. So attendance, this is in people here. About 16,500 people would be expected based off of this situation between these headliners and these probabilities, as well as their corresponding attendances. All right, so let's move on to part B. This asks, what is the expected profit? So to answer this, I'm going to note something. There's something that I have to remember about profit. So we haven't talked about profit in our class, but so I'm going to say what profit is. Profit is equal to the revenue minus the cost. And by revenue in this example, I mean, well, what are the sales that the organizers get from selling all of those tickets? That is how much money that they take in. And if you subtract away how much their costs are, that is the profit. All right, so if I want the expected profit, I'm going to have to factor in what the expected attendance is. So let's focus on sales first, or revenue. So to know how much money they're going to take in from sales, I need to know the expected attendance. How many people do we expect will come? And then each one of them is going to pay some amount for the ticket. So I multiply this by the price of the ticket, and that'll tell me the sales that we get. And then we're going to subtract away the cost. But this question said there were two types of costs. It says there was the cost of, let's go back to the problem. There was the cost of insurance, and there was also the cost for the headliner, so having to pay these artists. All right, so writing that down, we have to consider the cost of insurance. Insurance. And add that to the cost of the headliner. All right, let's focus on the cost of insurance. The problem said, well, they needed to pay $5 for each person who attended. So I'm going to have to factor in the expected attendance, count how many people showed up, how many people decided to come to this concert, to this festival, and multiply that by the insurance price per person. Alrighty, so if we start to write down some numbers, recall the expected attendance was 16,500. I'm going to multiply that by the price of the ticket, which is 15, and then minus, in a big bracket, expected, this should say attendance, whoops. Let's fix that, expected attendance. That was 16,000, let's put that in green, just to match, 16,500. Insurance price per person was $5. And we're gonna have to add this to the cost of the headliner, which the question said was 50,000. Alrighty, and if we work out what this equals, we will end up getting 115,000, or 115,000. So I'll put a comma here. And the units of profit, of money in this question, were dollars. So this is in dollars. That is the expected profit for the organizers. So in the next video, we will look at an example in which we have two random variables, and we're going to be looking at their sum.